Okay, ladies and gents, so in this test, we got the Special Poperations versus the Comanche Commander. This is in the 8.0 update, so yes, Comanche Commander is now nerfed with the Alchemist buff. And now it's back to normal. Back down to earth. No longer super OP and needed for every single Chimps game. And we're gonna put it against the Marine, which is pretty damn good in and itself. And while this test should be a lot closer now compared to the last update, so by the way, I did record this before the update, and yeah, I had to crash that. I had to delete the recording, because everything I tested there is now obsolete. So with that aside, let's test single turret DPS first, shall we? So I'm gonna set out one Fortified BAD, and hopefully these two tabs combined won't pop it, because I just want to see how much damage it can get throughout the whole track here. So let's go. So there's one issue here with the Marine, it's of course that the range of it is not infinite range like the Comanche Commander has. So that might skew the results a little bit, but that's kind of what you get with the Marine, you know? With the Marine, you don't really have that benefit or privilege of getting infinite range. So we're just going to try our best here. See if we can use or place the Marine in the best spots possible to get the most DPS. Because right now, yeah, the Comanche Commander is probably going to get DPS throughout the whole track here. And we'll drop the Marine again, of course. Probably down over here. Yeah. So now that scheme out hotkeys, it's a lot easier for me to compare this. Much better than having to click the buttons down here and then moving the heli while I'm at it. So it seems like throughout this whole track we get about 2 Marine uses, okay. And let's check the damage counts. Comanche Commander, only 18,000, and Marine, 8,600. So it looks like Commander wins. Although keep in mind the Commander is a little bit more expensive than the Marine, but I don't think it should make a big difference, or enough to take price into account here. Alright, so now it's time to test pure DPS. So we're gonna set out 50 of these BADs. That's right, 50. And of course we're gonna drop the Marine in the best spot possible, aka somewhere along this intersection right now. Alright. And let's take a look. Because I believe the Marine has a lot of Pierce. You might not think so, because it's like, a Marine shooting a gun? Guns barely have a lot of Pierce. And kind of right in that regard, but this is Bloons, guys. Bloons is not realistic. And I'm pretty sure, based on my experience playing with the Marine, that the Pierce of it is insane. So this test might be a lot closer than testing only one BAD. One Bloon. So Marine up a second time. And it should get a nice amount of time to rack up some damage along this track here. Downdraft doesn't really add a lot of damage, so it doesn't really matter where I place it, where I move it. But yeah, let's take a look now. Commander isn't really known for its pure pop power, so 88,000. And Marine, 250,000. Yeah, guys. I wasn't kidding when I said the Marine had a lot of Pierce. So far 1-to-1. If we're talking about single target DPS, definitely get Comanche. Although if you're talking about group balloons, oh yeah, definitely go for the Marine here. Alright, so we're gonna test with alch buffs later, but for now, we're just gonna test without alch buffs. So in this test, we're gonna try some real game situations, aka, let's try round 94, and see if the Marine can solo, or how much lives will it lose if it can't solo, in that regard. So let's go. So this round has a lot of balloons, so it might work in the Marine's favor, I think. A lot of balloons, might not hit the Pierce cap. But the only issue is at the downtime. You gotta keep that into account. We might leak a few lives if the Marine disappears while the balloons are exiting. Because, like, for example, it's gonna shoot again, I think, before it exits, or no? Okay. This is the best case scenario, because right now you only got a bunch of BFBs. And where to put my next Marine, I don't know. Here? Sure, press 3. So the thing with the Marine is shooting a gun, straight line projectile. It's obviously good to have them shooting down a straight line, which it kind of is right now. It's about as good as a straight line as you can get. And let's see, any leaks here? Not really, no. We're also going to use our downdraft as well, because, you know, that's part of the tower. Might add a little bit of utility here. Save some lives, but right now it looks like the Zoom Gs are going to kill us, for sure. Kind of expected, considering, well, it didn't do quite as much single target damage to the BAD as the Comanche did. So it's not really surprised that the Marine struggles in this regard. There it goes. We got enough time for one more Marine, so we'll use that. And see how much lives we can salvage. Hints, not a whole lot. Overall, we lost about 30,000 or more. A little bit more, 40,000. So, we lost 40k lives this round. And well, let's see if the Commander is any better. Again, 205, and let's go. And we're just going to leave it in pursuit, because there's not really an issue with Comanche Commander versus pursuit mode. The only time you don't want to use pursuit mode is with Apache Prime, because that one, it's going to miss a lot of projectiles if you have it on pursuit, but the Comanche Commander, Not really known for missing. And looks like we might leak versus the BFEs here. Almost, almost. Close. There's like 2 more left here. So it actually solos the BFEs. Same as the Marine. This is actually a lot closer of a test than I expected. Holy crap. So it is taking down the ZMGs a lot better than the Marine here, obviously. And how many lives are going to leak? Right now. Okay, now they leak. And there's about 3 more ZMGs we gotta go through. So I don't know, this is gonna be close. So if it's below 959k, then Marine wins. And holy crap, that was close. So if we're talking about how much damage each tower can pump out on a certain round, it's extremely close. So there's one thing we haven't tested yet, and that's DDTs. So we're gonna try that. We're just gonna send out our own DDTs here. So like 5 spacing, 10 of them. How does that sound? And drop the Marine here, I suppose. I don't know. Here seems decent, but let me just see. The tiny range of the Marine might be what kills it, and it kinda is, yeah. Kinda seems to be what hurts the Marine here. Okay, so a little bit of an unfair test here. We got a MIB under the Comanche, so... yeah, this should be a lot better than the Marine. But only because of this MIB here. So let's see. Let me just see how, without an alk buff, how well these things do. And okay, that's a lot better. A lot better, but how about if we make the price a little equal, because, you know... the Marine is a little bit cheaper than the Comanche by about 4k. So what if we use the 4k on the Alchemist buff? I don't know, how does that sound? And maybe we'll try the same test again. And maybe we'll get different results. Who knows? Drop the Marine real quick. And how we doing? So... yeah. At least kind of reaches down here, but still, even then, not quite enough to deal with DTs. But that's only because the range is kind of tiny. And obviously, in a real game, you're probably going to have other support towers. You're not just going to have the Marine versus DTs or any Bloons in general. So now we're going to try these guys versus the same thing as before. aka 1 Fortified BAD. But this time, they each got 400 out buffs, so let's go. 1 BAD coming right hot off the table, so let's drop the Marine now. So here's one thing to note here. I put my heli away from the track. I'm not sure if the Comanche eats up the out buffs from the mini Comanches, you know? I'm not sure if that so-called quote-unquote glitch, or whatever you want to call it, is still in the game as a 8.0. Because you know, back in 7.0, you would want to move your heli away from the track. But yeah, not like the damage really matters, so... we'll just see here. Before, the Comanche won by about 2 times. Let's see now. 28,000. So as you see now, the out buff on it is really low. And as for this guy, Marine, 9k, 10k. Wow. Alright, just in case that was a fluke, we're gonna try one more time, but this time with a 402 Alchemist. Because the thing with the Marine, the main heli has to be out buff for the damage to take into effect. So there might have been a time where we used it at the wrong time. We used the Marine when the out buff was not active, and that's what caused it to not do as much damage as I thought it would. I'm pretty sure with 402s it should not be happening again, but it looks like, okay. So this is a lot more reasonable. 13k versus 28k, same thing as before. So nothing really changes in terms of the ratio, they're about the same. Okay, and same test as before. Bunch of Fortified BADs, all clumped together. Before, the Marine absolutely smashed the record. It was like 3 times more than Comanches. So we'll see if the ratio is the same. Okay, and as the beds exit, let's take a look here. Comanche, 155, 156. So that's about twice as much as before, okay. Not too shabby. And Marine, not quite 2x, but about 1.6. So the verdict doesn't really change here. Even with other out buffs, Marine is still better than Comanche at group balloons, and as for single target, well, Comanche still wins. But there's one more test, guys, one more test. So let's try round 94 again. Last time we lost 40,000 lives, but let's see this time. If we add the out buff, will it make a difference? So I'm going to time it this time. I'm going to time it so the out buff is active when we use the Marine, because that matters a lot when we're testing here. So we'll use it. Is it active? Yes, it is. Let's use it. Okay. So we got 2 out buffed Marines here, and looks like the ZMG damage is quite substantial. Feels like we're going to NLL this round, and we just might, although the issue is going to time it really soon. Okay, best case scenario, times out when the ZMGs only, and we'll use it one more time when it's active. Let's see. Okay, it's active. Let's use it. And NLL, guys, I think so. Alright. Alright, time for the Comanche's turn. Again, we're just going to move the main heli away, just in case that the main heli does eat up attacks. You still want your Comanches to, you know, get the Yak buff, because with the Yak buff they're insane, but it's just not active all the time. So with that said, Perma-Brew is still really good. Perma-Brew plus Comanche, it's just as good as before. Of course the issue is that the Perma-Brew is like 60k. But how are we doing here? You can tell it's Yak buff if the range is really big. So right now you see that the uptime is really low. The Comanches eat up the attacks insanely quickly. And they actually eat up this round pretty damn nicely as well, holy crap. It's actually just as good as the Marine, wow. It's making it really hard for me to tell what's better or not. So let's up the ante. Let's try 96. 96. Not 98, because I'm 99% sure that's not going to work. And how about these BFEs here? They're again really far too. And don't forget there's a bunch of ZMGs at the end as well. Comanche does not respond well to a ton of group balloons, but it's actually getting really close. This is going to be a photo finish, or actually, maybe not that close. Hold on. Let's turn the last bend here, but there's only one ZMG left. And BFEs. And then Moabs, and then nothing. Come on, it's so close. So close. But still preserving the NLL. Okay, that's really impressive. I thought the Comanche would not be able to slow like 96 anymore because of the nerf, but apparently no. And of course I'm going to use the downdraft just to make sure that it blows back all the SRAMs here. Get the most out of the Marine Tower. But these 4-5 mobs, man, it's going to time out this Marine before all the mobs get popped. And I'm pretty sure we're going to leak to these things. Oh, yeah, we're going to leak. We're going to leak unless we can get the Marine up before they exit, but yeah, it's not happening. Not happening, folks. We'll use it again. But already, the Marine has lost. So yeah, Marine plus Alchemist, not as potent as Comanche plus Alchemist, even after the nerf. Although still pretty damn good. It's just the Marine is a little unreliable, as you see right now. It times out at the worst possible moment. Nice, like 50,000 lives lost, alright. Not too shabby. But it looks like with Alchemists, the Comanche Commander still edges out the Marine a little bit. But if we're talking like overall it's really close, the Marine does have the benefit in that it's a little bit cheaper. And it has the Terra moving ability as well. So my verdict, it's pretty much a pick your poison kind of thing now. Although a slight edge to the Comanche still. Alright, and for bonus, some of you might have been thinking throughout the whole video, why didn't you use Apache Prime versus like Special Poperations or versus Comanche? Did that thing get buffed? Yes it did. But the reason why I didn't test it, compared to those two towers in the back, was because, well, I knew for sure that the Apache Prime would win. Now they got like yet another buff. And just to show you guys that the Apache Prime reigns supreme, we'll try the same test with this guy versus the other tests. So, 1 bad. So I believe it was 18,000 versus 9,000 in the first test for the Comanche. And well, Apache Prime gets even more than that, 20k. And we haven't even tested super clumped balloons here, so we'll do that, 50 of them again. Get back the Apache Prime, and let's go. The amount of damage to beat, 250k by the Marine. And right now it's looking like he's going to smash that. So again, if you're wondering why I didn't test it, it feels like the Apache Prime has been buffed to a point, well, now it probably doesn't need a buff anymore. I think it's right where it should be in terms of power level. Like, we're talking the top path heli, guys. It's all damage. So it's no surprise that the Apache Prime should be doing more damage than the other two. It was kind of BS how they didn't do as much damage before the buffs. But I think Ninja Kiwi went in the right direction here. Apache Prime twice as much as Marine. So yeah, if you're wondering where the Apache Prime fits in with the other two heli upgrades, well, looks like it slots right over the other two now.